Todo hated school. He hated it because he didn't even want to go in the first place, especially not UA. As much as possible, he would have preferred to stay in his room and indulge in his favorite animes. Being active and going outdoors really wasn't his thing. Unfortunately, the people around him didn't seem to understand that, namely, his parents.
You're wasting your youth away.
His mother had told him when he was graduating middle school.
You don't go outside or hang out with friends. You don't even have a goal of what you want to do in your future.
Mom, I really don't care at this point in time. I'm enjoying myself by just being here in my room.
But they didn't believe him. No one ever did. A young teenage boy like him should be outdoors, doing sports and training his strength. They should have goals and dreams and ambitions, and a group of boisterous friends who they could share them with. Todo wasn't like that. He never really saw the appeal in loud and boisterous activities. A good story, an entertaining piece of media. That was all he needed to feel happy. He enjoyed spending his time watching his favorite shows or reading mangas, collecting figures and merchandise of his favorite characters, and so on. But of course, that wasn't the kind of life his parents wanted for him. In a last, desperate effort to get him to put his life together, they had forced him to sign up for UA High. Todo had hoped that he would not be accepted by the school, but due to his quirk that allowed him to create basically anything into temporary existence simply by writing the word of the item down, he was well suited to becoming a hero. Despite minimal effort, his unique powers granted him a great advantage during the entrance exam, and before he knew it, he was enrolled into the hero course. Unhappily resigned to his fate, Todo now spent his days sitting alone during classes and escaping into his own world of fiction whenever he could. He would shut out his surroundings and concentrate his mind instead on his interests until the school day was over. Every time one of his classmates tried to befriend him or engage him in conversation, he would tell them to simply leave him alone. It wasn't as if he was shy. He just wasn't interested in the mundane topics that everyone else seemed to like talking about. Besides, he enjoyed spending time with himself. It was common to see him buried behind the pages of a manga during classes while everyone else chatted, messed around with each other, or did their schoolwork. It was on one such day during homeroom when he heard what sounded like yet another one of his classmates attempting to socialize with him.
That's a nice book you're reading.
A voice said quietly. Todo turned away from the speaker, moving his book with him.
Leave me alone.
Black Clover, isn't it?
What?
That got Todo's attention. He lowered the book slightly and looked up at the speaker, and was surprised to see Masashi standing there. His class rep did never strike him as the type who knew anything about anime. The latter was usually a more mature, athletic type of person, or so he thought.
You recognize it?
Todo asked hesitantly. Masashi put a finger to his lips and didn't answer.
I came to return you this assignment,
He said instead, a little more loudly. He slipped a marked worksheet onto Todo's desk, then added something else underneath it.
What's that?
Who knows?
Masashi shrugged.
I'll have to be going now. Got to distribute the rest of these assignments.
He gestured to a stack of worksheets he was still carrying in his other hand.
I'll see you around.
He left, leaving Todo rather confused. Uncertainly, he lifted the marked worksheet off his desk and peeked underneath the paper. It was a small bookmark. Todo picked it up and examined it behind his manga. The bookmark featured the main characters of Black Clover, all beautifully printed along a scenic background. They were all in action poses and looking as though they were ready to charge into battle. It may have been small, but it was beautiful. And for a moment, Todo could do nothing but simply hold it in his hand, feeling rather stunned.
Did Masashi give me this?
He thought to himself.
But why? How did he even know I liked this series? How did he even recognize it in the first place when he saw my manga?
These thoughts continued to swirl in Todo's mind as he slipped the bookmark into his pocket, determined not to lose it.
I'll have to find him alone and ask him later. I don't want attention from the rest of the class.
Todo thought, now slipping his returned assignment into his bag.
This is definitely strange. He was acting rather off.
The moment the school bell rang for the end of classes that day, Todo took his time leaving the room. He was normally one of the first ones out, always being in a hurry to get home as soon as possible so he could take refuge in his bedroom. But today he had other plans. Todo lingered at his desk until most of the class had filed out, and watch as Masashi closed his files and prepared to leave.
Masashi,
Todo began, walking up to him.
can I talk to you for a bit?
He balled his hands into fists in his pockets as he waited for Musashi to respond, hoping that none of the remaining stragglers in the room would ask any questions. It was a rather default defense stance he had tended to take, even though he never actually used those fits for anything except for making himself feel stronger against any criticism he might receive for being himself. Musashi turned to face him after a moment, looking rather surprised at who had approached him.
Oh, hi Theodore. Do you need something?
It's Todo,
The farmer corrected. He hated people calling him by his actual name.
and I guess I just wanted to ask you something.
Right. Sorry, Todo. And of course, I'm happy to help with anything I can.
Several students were beginning to stare. This was the most they had ever seen Todo talk for as long as they had been classmates with him. Masashi waved them off, looking at them with a charming smile.
Don't worry.
He said to the few of them who had begun to ask questions.
I'm just helping Todo with some of his assignments. Move along now.
The remaining students immediately obliged, and Todo watched in wonder as Masashi crossed the door and closed it behind them.
Was that your quirk at work?
Of course.
Masashi replied, returning to his desk and pulling up a chair.
My quirk allows me to command anyone to do anything I ask him to without question. It's not very flashy, but there it is.
He sat down and turned to face his classmates.
So, what did you want to talk to me about? I know it wasn't schoolwork.
Todo pulled out the black Clover bookmark from his pocket.
I wanted to ask you about this. How did you know Black Clover? And why did you give this to me?
Ah, I just saw it in a bookstore somewhere and thought you might like it.
There was something a little off about the way he was speaking. His left hand was fidgeting slightly, and he was not meeting Todo's eyes. Todo was a little too surprised to notice these signs, however.
I didn't think anyone here thinks of me enough to get a bookmark of an anime I like.
He admitted, pulling up a chair as well and sitting next to the class rep.
I just thought it would help you feel more at home in the class. It is my duty as class rep to help everyone feel included, after all.
Todo glanced at the bookmark again, the faintest hint of a smile threatening to form on his face. He then noticed something, however, and the smile turned into a slight frown of confusion.
Wait, this bookmark doesn't say Black Clover on it. It just has the characters in the background. I'm surprised you knew where it was from.
There was no mistaking it. Masashi was definitely fidgeting this time. He shifted uncomfortably in his seat, deliberately looking everywhere but at Todo.
Well, I'm sure these animes are common knowledge.
It is pretty popular, but it's not like Pokemon or something.
Todo replied. He then looked over at his class rep with more interest than he ever showed him before.
Masashi, do you watch anime?
What? Me? Of course not. Why would I? Anime is for those who...
It's okay if you do. It doesn't mean you're lazy or weird or anything like that. Unlike whatever everyone else makes it out to be.
Masashi stopped babbling and turned to look at him.
Is that what everyone else thinks of you?
Yes. I don't care though.
I don't know how you do it. I would sooner do almost anything else before admitting that I like anime.
It doesn't really matter to me if you do. If anything, I'm a little relieved if that were the case.
Masashi looked down and folded his arms around his waist.
Yes, I admit it. I watch anime, but that doesn't make me a weeb or reflect on how hard I'm actually training.
I really don't care. I don't think it affects anything else about you at all. If anything, I'm glad you like it. What's your favorite series?
Black Clover.
Masashi sighed after another moment of hesitation, looking as though he wanted to sink through the chair.
I relate to the main character a lot.
So that's how you knew the characters when you saw that bookmark in the store.
More or less. But I guess I lied about that as well. That bookmark was actually a spare one I had that I thought you might like. I saw you reading the manga yesterday and thought that maybe I could find a good home for the duplicate. I knew that I would be risking my secret of loving anime by doing so, but I guess it felt a little less awful if you were the one to find out since you like it too. So I decided to take that chance.
You'll collect merchandise of Black Clover too?
Not really. I just have a few small things from it. But you seem like the type who would, so I thought you might appreciate that bookmark.
Todo held the gift close to his chest. No one had ever done something like that for him, especially not while taking his interest into account.
Thank you. It really means a lot.
He whispered. Masashi looked away again, but nodded.
You're welcome. It's really nothing special. Just don't tell anyone else about it.
I won't.
Todo replied. And then a half-formed idea began forming in his mind.
By the way, I get it if you don't want to, but I've never met anyone else who liked anime before. If you like, we could watch some episodes together. I have the whole Black Clover DVD box set in my room, so we could either go over there, or I could bring it to school, and we could find another place to watch, or...
He trailed off, looking down at his feet.
Only if you want to.
Masashi took a few moments before he answered.
You mean you want to watch some episodes with me? Without judgment?
Of course, but only if you're up for it.
And you won't tell anyone about us hanging out to watch anime?
Why would I? Telling everyone about personal hangout stuff is Akahana's job, not mine. Same goes with telling everyone else about personal gifts between people.
Masashi could not resist a laugh. It was true that their classmate, Akahana, was somewhat of a gossip queen who got into everybody's business.
Then we gotta be extra careful to make sure she doesn't find out. If you can keep it a secret and you don't judge me, then I would like that.
The small smile that Todo wore earlier returned to him, and he looked up again to meet his class rep's gaze.
It's a deal then. Let me know when you're free to hang out.
I certainly will. I'll let you know as soon as I can.
Masashi promised. He left shortly afterward, with Todo making his own way home as well. As he walked, he clutched the black Clover bookmark that was now securely back in his pocket. A somewhat warm feeling began to envelop his chest. It was too early to know for sure, but Todo thought he may have successfully made a friend that day. Out of all of his classmates, he would not have expected for that friend to be the class representative who was always talking to everyone and who was always trying hard to be a hero. Their worlds seemed so far from each other and so different. But today he found out that they had something in common after all. What was more, Masashi didn't seem to judge him for his interests. It was rather nice knowing that he had someone who he could talk to about what he enjoyed, even if the latter insisted on it being done in secret. It wasn't as if Todo liked a lot of attention anyway, so keeping their future discussions to themselves didn't bother him in the slightest. As he approached his house, he could not help but plan ahead and think of what episodes they were going to watch together in the coming weeks. For the first time, he was almost looking forward to going to class next day, and the day after, just so he could plan secret meetups with his potential new friend. Maybe things were starting to look up. Maybe school wouldn't be so bad after all.